Previously, after having a crazy battle, Ueki fell because he was tired after facing 4 members of Robert's 10 fighters. Then Ueki said that he considered Rinko his friend. Hearing that, she was touched. Then she chooses to betray Robert by lying to him about what just happened. The scene switches to Rinko, who just arrived at the base and wants to tell Myojin that she managed to defeat Ueki. However, Myojin had already found out that she had betrayed them and intended to have a duel with her. Meanwhile, Yo-chan, Ogre, and Baki looked for Ueki's whereabouts until they met Tenko. Yo-chan ran in fear instead, while Ogre and Baki attacked Tenko simultaneously. However, Tenko managed to make a very strong barrier, so they couldn't penetrate it even though they had been attacking for 6 hours. Meanwhile, Myojin came there carrying Rinko's body which he had defeated. Tenko, who saw this, turned his attention so Rinko could take steps to free her bonds. As a result, their plan worked. Then Tenko brought her into the shield. It turned out that Myojin could pierce the shield using his laser and was followed by Baki, who destroyed the shield with his meteor. After that, Rinko attacked Ogre while Tenko prevented Myojin and Baki from entering the cave. Ogre is very strong even though he has been hit by her attacks. It turned out that all this time, Ogre had been wearing a protective suit made of steel. At the same time, Ueki wakes up, finds out that his friends are being attacked, and wants to help them. But Tenko warned him not to leave before 12 hours so that the unfinished treatment wouldn't affect him. They fought until morning. Rinko had been defeated by Ogre, while Tenko had to lose one of his horns for resisting Myojin and Baki's attacks. Luckily, it was already 12 hours, so Ueki could get out of the cave. After that, Ueki stood before them and defeated Baki using Mash, while he defeated Ogre using Ranma. Seeing Ueki easily defeat his enemy, Tenko realized his tree power could strengthen his holy weapon. Even though his strength is at rank 4, his strength is twice that of rank 4. Not long after, Ueki fights against Myojin, who Tenko says that he has strength equal to rank 8 of celestial beings. However, he was overwhelmed by Ueki until he fell. It turns out that Myojin has 2 powers, namely turning whistles into lasers and turning cards into saws, thus turning things around. Arrogantly, Myojin said before he defeated Ueki and his friends, he would explain how he could have 2 powers at once. As it turned out, Myojin had 2 candidates that gave him 1 power each. So far, only Robert can't beat him and Sano, who can balance his strength. Myojin attacked Ueki until his leg was hit by the laser attack. Myojin was ready to end the fight by giving 6 cards at once. Suddenly, Ueki said that he already knew Myojin's weakness. Ueki, chased by the saw, ran towards Myojin, but he managed to dodge. Myojin said he should not fight Robert because if Robert has created a new world, then the members of Robert's 10 fighters will be given one country and become kings of that country. Ueki said Robert only cares about himself and doesn't deserve to be king. Soon afterward, Ueki got up and attacked Myojin using Kurogane. Myojin blocked the attack using laser power and almost managed to turn things around. However, Ueki managed to restrain Kurogane using Mash, which hit Myojin's body very hard and defeated him. After defeating all 10 of Robert's fighters, Ueki intends to head to the base to fight him. Rinko tells Ueki that by defeating Myojin, their base has been destroyed, and Robert must not be there by now. Not long after, Mori and Wanko arrived in front of Ueki. It turns out that Wanko is a candidate from Sano, and he intends to ask Ueki for help because currently, Sano has joined Robert's 10 fighters. It turns out that there is still one member of Robert's 10 fighters, named Carl, who is the group's leader. Carl tells Sano that their members have been defeated by Ueki, surprising Sano. He introduced 2 new and more powerful members of Robert's 10 fighters from Myojin. On the other hand, Ueki continued to train until he was ranked 6 to save Sano. Tenko was surprised. In a short time, Ueki could rise 2 ranks at once. He still doesn't believe Sano, who has a wise nature, wants to join Robert's 10 fighters. Not long after, there is a letter from a bird for Ueki. It turns out that the letter was an invitation from Robert for him to come to his new headquarters. 5 days later, Ueki came to Robert's new base with Mori, Wanko, and Rinko. It turned out that their new headquarters was in an unused game center building. The funny thing is, to get into Robert's headquarters, they must win a car racing game first. Then they will be taken to the basement and wear the bracelets provided there. After that, they had to enter the arena of a 4-on-4 battle forcibly. Mori had to join the fight because she was already wearing her bracelet. If someone retreat, that person will be killed by the poison attack from the bracelet. Ueki has to press a button to choose his opponent and where to fight. He has to fight Yunpao in the cake field. Automatically, they were sent to the cake field. Ueki attacked Yunpao, who was busy eating the cake instead. But he can still dodge Ueki's attack and even respond by turning the electricity into sugar grains, so the electricity flows more evenly. Ueki became fat because he accidentally ate the cake there. It turns out that 100 grams of cake eaten will increase their weight by 1 kilogram. Knowing this, he ate a lot to keep up with Yunpao's body. He continued to be attacked while observing Yunpao's state limit. Finally, he found the limit of his condition, which required both Yunpao's eyes not to blink when carrying out an attack. Ueki lied to him by saying there was a chocolate cake behind him. After averting his gaze, Ueki attacked him with a rank 5 pick weapon. The battle continues between Mori against Kabara in the snow and without oxygen. Robert gave 10 hats to each participant. If the participants dance using the hat, then they can breathe. Then they both chase each other while occasionally dancing. She managed to lure him into the cave and took all his hats, making him, who ran out of oxygen, continue to chase her to tell him where his hat's whereabouts. And when Kabara put it on, his hat exploded because Mori had exchanged it for her hat. The rules of the match: participants are prohibited from wearing hats belonging to their opponents. Unfortunately, Mori fainted from running out of oxygen, so their fight was even, so that they both can join again in the next fight. In the third battle, Rinko will face Kabara in a room that contains a giant cat. Robert tells the rules of the match, where participants can turn their opponents into mice by touching the noses of the cats. Rinko attacked Kabara so that the cats woke up. Not long after, Kabara managed to touch the nose of one of the cats, turning Rinko into a mouse and prey for the cats. He attacks her using his wings. Carl said that Rinko wouldn't be able to attack cats because she loves animals. Luckily, Rinko saw the refrigerator in the room and managed to blow it up until the refrigerator door opened. The cats were distracted by the smell of food from inside the refrigerator, so she could touch the cat's nose and turn Kabara into a mouse. The fourth battle between Ueki and Sano in the jump rope arena with lava fire underneath. Ueki said he didn't want to fight against Sano and asked that the fight be considered a draw because his purpose in coming there was only to make Sano out of Robert's 10 fighters. But Sano replied that he joined of his own accord. Hearing that, Ueki was forced to fight Sano while occasionally having to jump and avoid the giant rope that kept spinning. Ueki tried to swallow him using mash, but Sano could still hold it in. When Ueki jumps over the rope, Sano wraps around Ueki's legs using his cloth that has been electrified. Ueki then attacked Sano, but Sano could always hold him back and even attack back. Surprisingly, Ueki was even more enthusiastic in that fight and seemed to enjoy it. He managed to cover both of Ueki's hands using his cloth, which turned into iron, so Ueki couldn't attack him again. Unable to understand, Ueki struck Sano using his 2 iron-wrapped hands. Sano swiftly released the coil, so they both attacked each other with bare hands. Not long after, the rope spins faster, and the two of them choose to fight in the air. But because Ueki's holy weapon was too heavy, he found it difficult to balance himself. Tenko tells him to use a method when defeating Myojin. Ueki uses pick to make a hole in the ground, so when the rope twists, he just has to duck without jumping. He attacked Sano from below, which made him bounce until he almost fell into the hot lava. Carl said that Sano must not die yet, because he still has a debt of promise to defeat 20 power users. Here it is revealed that Sano joined Robert's 10 fighters to save Wonko. Because behind Wonko's neck, Carl put a celestial beast named the Killer Pentagon that he didn't realize, where Carl can control the beast to finish off Wonko. Wonko asked why Sano had not told him all this time and chose to solve the problem in his own way. For Sano, Wonko is not only a candidate but already considers him his best friend. Carl tells another secret, where the bracelet that Ueki's team wears has no effect on the inhabitants of heaven. So if Ueki loses, only Mori and Rinko will die. Carl threatens Sano that if he loses, then Wonko will die. Unfortunately, Ueki only has 2 choices: save Mori and Rinko, or Wonko. Wonko represented Ueki to answer. He chose to give power to Mori. If a candidate gave power to 2 different people, then that candidate would be severely punished in the underworld, even death. Wonko replies that he is more willing to be punished in the underworld as long as Carl can't threaten Sano anymore. After the granting of power to Mori was completed, Wonko was sent to the underworld. Everyone there was saddened by Wonko's departure, except for Carl, who laughed happily. Even Carl thought Wonko was stupid for sacrificing himself for someone else. Ueki, who was very angry, challenged Carl to fight with him. He agreed and went straight into the arena. Robert makes a new rule: if Ueki loses, Mori and Rinko will die from poison, even though Ueki's team has won 2 battles. He attacks Carl, while Carl uses Dawn's power to turn the ring into a rocket. It turns out that he can use Myojin's laser power to remove the rope so as not to interfere with their fight. Carl admits that his strength is imitating the strengths of others, especially members of Robert's 10 fighters. Carl used Kurokage's shadow technique to surround Ueki, then used Rinko's bomb to attack. Fortunately, Ueki changed places thanks to a rank 6 weapon called Raka. Carl suddenly made many clones around the arena, then all the clones fired lasers simultaneously. Luckily, Ueki could reflect the lasers until they hit each of them. Shortly afterward, Carl used Baki's meteor strike, but Raka's weapon could make Ueki's movements very fast. Ueki attacks him using pick. Then Carl made many clones by creating the power of Dawn and Kabara at once. but Ueki can move fast again by using Raka. Then he took out Ranam, which formed a giant sharp knife so he could cut the entire body of Carl's clone. Ueki finally managed to hit Carl's real body, thus making all his clones disappear. Carl, recognizing Ueki's prowess, took out a cell phone. With that cell phone, he can read Ueki's mind about how he will attack. After knowing that, Carl had the power to switch positions, making Ueki had to be hit by his attack. Then Ueki tries to trick Carl using a pick weapon. Pick will attack him backward when Carl changes positions, making him almost fall into the lava. Again, Carl swapped positions with Ueki. Carl is very sure that Ueki died from falling into the lava, but it turned out that Ueki had prepared mash before they switched places. Meanwhile, Ueki managed to survive using his tree. He was furious, then he approached Carl and beat him until he lost. As a result, the fight was won by Ueki. Ueki's team returned to the slot room with the poison bracelet, automatically released because their team was declared victorious. As a gift, Robert said that he would grant Ueki one wish. He asked to fight with Robert. Here, Robert reveals that he deceived the members of Robert's 10 fighters by saying he would give them one country and become king of that country. Even after he gets an empty talent, he will destroy the human world, including members of Robert's 10 fighters. Rinko, who is sad to hear Robert's words, speculates that he hates humans because he has always been bullied by their friends since he was 2 years old. Not only small children but even parents who fear Robert's strength force Robert's adoptive father to expel him, even though he always protects him. One day, it was revealed that Robert's adoptive father wanted to care for and protect Robert because someone gave him money even when he feared Robert's strength. At that time, he had wanted to hand over Robert to be tried by the residents. Unexpectedly, Robert went on a rampage and destroyed the city. Since then, Robert does not believe that there are still good people in this world. This is the end of the third part of this anime. The last part will be in the next video.